Good afternoon and assalamu alaikum. You are tuned into Salam Media with me, Fasiha Davids, your host for this week on the mid morning talk. We are coming to the end of the show now, and it's been such an emotional day. We've interviewed amazing, strong women and outspoken women that's spoken to rather injustices and solidarity both locally and in Palestine. Now we are joined by Ayesha Fundi, a Marikana massacre widow whose security officer husband Hassan Fundi was tragically killed by the striking Lonmin mine. Yesterday marked 13 years since the Marikana massacre. Aisha, thank you so much for speaking with us. Can you take us back to who Hassan was as a husband, a father, and a person outside of the uniform and work?
Hi, good day to you. Assalamu alaikum to you and the listeners. My name is Ayesha Fundi. I'm the widow of the late Hassan Fundi, who was killed in Marikana on the week leading to Marikana massacre on the 16th of April. Uh, Hassan was a gentleman. He was originally from Malawi, a caring man who always put his family first. And he was a husband, a supporting husband that I can lean to. And he adored his children as a father. Yeah, I think he's the kind of person that was always laughing, teaching our kids values and respect. Outside of his work, he loved people, and he was also a provider for our family.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Aisha. I can imagine what a sensitive time it must be, especially this time, every single year. You know that you kind of have to reflect back and think about the role that he played for you as a husband and as a supporter for your family and breadwinner for your family. And it's so interesting that we're speaking to this. The fact that Hassan Fundi was a security officer, because so often I think in media, the narrative is around the 34 mine workers that were killed, brutally so in the Marikana massacre. But somehow, some way in the narrative, they've left out the 10 additional killings that took place, and most of them were security guards or members of the South African police service. So I mean, is that something you comfortable speaking to, that this narrative isn't really being played out in media?
Yes, I'm comfortable. It has been 13 years now, and I've been speaking about this thing. I think you are free to ask anything that you need to ask.
Okay. I mean, what do you remember most about your last days with him before the tragedy?
Come again. Your line is breaking a little bit. What? Come again.
Okay, I'm asking Aisha, what do you remember most about your last days with your husband before the tragedy?
Okay. I remember little things. He was this person that every night when he come from work, we have a conversation with us. Sometimes he called the kids, and then he will relate everything that is going to work, what is happening to his work, including even the day of that week, fateful week. He came on Friday because remember the strikers have been striking the whole week and they were busy cutting and killing people. And he told us there is a strike. And normally he was a person that did not work weekends. He was a superintendent protection services. So at any time when the company feels like they are running short of manpower, they will then ask them to come. And then on Friday, he asked us that he's going to work overtime because there are people that are striking. And that night, we were sitting, it was just Ramadan time, feeding just after breaking our fast. And then we talk with the children present. And then he told us that he'll be working over the weekend because they need manpower. And then on that particular night, he was asking the kids to get his PPE, and my son Hussein was busy doing the boots, and then my daughter Amina was only 8 years that time, and then he took his father a protection shield. What they call it? This thing that they put that protect bullets, a bulletproof.
Mm,
And then he said, "Daddy, but this bulletproof is not covering your head." And then by that time, like Amina, the time when he was putting this, he was like playing with it and said, "This thing looks so heavy, but I'm worried, Daddy, because it doesn't protect your head." I don't know. Children has the way of perceiving things that are gonna happen, not knowing that his father tomorrow will be killed and his head and his body will be mutilated and cut in pieces. So it was just like a history that I will never forget. And then on that night, again, the night before he left, we normally during Ramadan time, he will wake me up and during the Hajj to say, "Let's go and pray." And that particular night, I think it was on Saturday night because he was killed on Sunday, uh, the 12th of August. So on that night, he didn't call me to go and pray. I just felt him when he was coming from the other room where we made it some small prayer room. And when he was passing my bedroom going to bath, then that's when I realized that this person has wake up. And then I said, "How? Why did you leave me today? You didn't wake me up for prayer." He
mm.
left me with his last ways that I will never forget for my entire life. He told me that, "You know what? You always think that I'm gonna speak for you. Everyone is gonna stand alone in front of God." That was very strange. And then I was surprised at how most of the time he would just wake me up and say, "Hey, come, it's the time." But that particular night he left me. And I never have the answers up until today that he has to leave me alone and I have to become a father and a mother, and I must continue to carry the values and do everything that he asked me to do. So those are the things that I remember a night before he was killed.
Thank you for sharing that with us. We are speaking to Ayesha Fundi, the widow of the late Hassan Fundi, who was security officer during the Marikana massacre. Aisha, I mean, the story you just told me, it's absolutely heartbreaking, and I have the chills just listening to you. Um, I can only imagine what all that pain must be like for you and your kids to go through. Um, how are you as a family coping now? How have you? What is it that's kind of keeping you going? Given this, the memories that you have.
Yeah, I can say that it is not enough. I remember after this incident, Lonmin has offered all the families to bring any family member that will come and work on behalf of their late family members. And in that case, I had my son Mohammed that was just started a military training, and then he was the only son that could take his father's as position or a space at the mine so he can maintain us. My children were so scared. Like he literally told me, "Mom, I don't want to go there. I don't want to, whatever happened to my dad happened to me." And that time I was working as a teacher. And because I decided that maybe because the mine is a private sector, maybe they pay better, I would rather take a bullet for my kids. We have this saying in our culture that says a mother holds the sharp knife of the sharp edge of the knife. And I decided to stand out and come and take my husband's position at the mine. Although I was not given his position, I was we were given the position according to the qualification that we have, and as such, I was placed at the training center because I was a teacher, and then eventually I applied and work. I'm now working at the HR department.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so
So
much.
it wasn't easy. Yeah, I'm sorry. It wasn't easy because my husband is a firstborn child in his family in Malawi. He had six other siblings. He was the seventh, and he provided for his siblings after his parents passed away. And at some stage, the shoes become so big to extent that when there is a problem in Malawi, when the hunger strikes Malawi, the family still believe that his their brother. They'll call me since they don't have food, they don't have something to feed their thing on the table. And then on the other hand, it's my family and my kids that I'm supposed to support. Is actually the big shoes that I cannot relate to you. How big is it for me to do all these things alone? Thank you.
Aisha, thank you for sharing that with us. I can only imagine the pain, the trauma, the level of responsibility that is now, or the burden thereof that has been placed on your shoulders since the brutal killing of your husband 13 years ago. We are speaking to Ayesha Fundi, the widow of the late Hassan Fundi, who was tragically killed by the striking Lonmin mine 13 years ago. Aisha, we will continue speaking with you after this break.
No problem.
From an award-winning firm, look no further than the Belmont Mayer Group, your gateway to unparalleled investment and wealth management. At Belmont Mayer, we believe in the art of wealth creation, a meticulous process fueled by our unwavering commitment to excellence. With a focus on providing elite alternative investments and quality advice, we also pride ourselves on maximizing value for our esteemed investors, as seen through our consistent outperformance. Your financial success is our top priority. Join us at Belmont Mayer and experience the difference firsthand. Ready to embark on a journey of greatness? Contact us today. Reach out to the Belmont Mayer Group on 078 786 1698. Call or WhatsApp or email us at info@belmontmayer.com. Elevate your financial future with Belmont Mayer, where every detail matters.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Make a conscious choice. Sip for change and support Palestine Drinks Africa. With every can, you help end the genocide and stand in solidarity with Palestine. Choose between our original or sugar-free options available in the case of 24. Every sip is a step towards justice. Every purchase a powerful message of unity and support for the Palestinian cause. Contact 082 888 1440 or 082 7739 556 today and be part of the change. Palestine drinks Africa. Sip for change. Liberty for everyone.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Welcome back to the mid-morning talk with me, Fasiha Davids. I am your host for this week. Currently in an interview and discussion with Ayesha Fundi, a widow of the late Hassan Fundi, who was tragically killed by the striking Lonmin mine in the Marikana massacre 13 years ago. Ayesha, again, thank you so much for joining us. For listeners and viewers who just tuned in now, we touched on, the added burden of social responsibility that you've had to take up since you lost your husband, who was also the breadwinner for your family. 13 years later, do you feel that your pain and your husband's story is being acknowledged in the national memory of Marikana? Do you feel the story of the security guards are being acknowledged?
Yeah, honestly speaking, 13 years later, I can say that it's not enough for the public, or I can say maybe some of the media house, how they portrayed Marikana. Uh, I will also say that it's not enough because I have noticed that also the mining house, the present mining house, which is now Sibani, which bought Lonmin in 2019, they are trying to gather us sometimes in a house just for a prayer. And this week's prayer will be hosted this Friday. And then a majority of the people, the story of Marikana is often not told through the lens of striking. It's always not being told uh, through the lens of striking mine workers that lost life on the 16th of August. So for those that lost life prior the 16th, meaning like the likes of my husband that lost life from the 12th to the 15th, I think the country or the public does not know us. Maybe because we are minority, but I think I was speaking to one of the media house last weekend to say that Marikana won't be Marikana even if we can sideline the incident that led to the 16. They still exist. Like everything, it has the foundation. Like the house has the foundation. Marikana started, and the same strikers that were killed on the 16th of August, they started the strike. They started killing innocent people that were going to work. And even if they try to brainwash it, that is the reality of Marikana. It never exists because nobody just came on the 16th of August and killed the people. It was the events, the event led the other event. They started killing the people, forcing people to go to the mountain. On the 12th, my husband and his colleagues were were placed on the strikers to check if the strikers is gaining the momentum, and in the interim they were killed by the angry striking mine workers. So when we speak about Marikana, we must speak about holistically about Marikana so that the global or the public or even the country knows Marikana the way it is, not the part, the only one side of Marikana. In that way, we will hail Marikana going forward.
Thank you so much
Mhm.
for that, Aisha Fundi, for sharing with us her story and challenging the narrative of the Marikana massacre, that it didn't just happen on the 16th or 17th of August, but rather it was a build up of events from the 12th um, all the way through to the 17th of August, and your husband's life being lost in that time, or rather being taken. Um, Aisha, do you believe that enough has been done by the state, by Lonmin now, Sibania Stillwater, um, and society at large to recognize and at least what has happened?
I think it's not enough. Enough has been done by the states. Even the I would say the previous mining house, Lonmin, there's been very little acknowledgement and the real support of the families, especially for non-striking mine workers. And the security, the two security personnel that were killed in line of duty, as compared to those two police that were killed by strikers. I've noticed that in a police state, a police officer that was killed in line of duty, their widows will receive their salary. They will receive the compensation for them to die on the duty for as long as they're still alive. And I don't know how the mining house work things out, because my husband was killed in line of duty, and he was killed with the negligence of the previous mining companies, or for overlooking the what, I don't know how- I don't know the wait for it, how big was the strike. You can send, for example, the five people to go and deal with 2,000 people.
Mm,
That was the reality. And the mining house has the surveillance and the cameras. They could see everything. Number one, the company didn't have enough vehicle. They were sent with light skin vehicle. They didn't have an armored vehicle. They didn't have armored clothes. They didn't have the right people that dealt with they were never trained to deal with that such type of the strike. You can go. Remember, those strikers were fully armed. They have weapons. They have what, sharp weapons, and they have some what they call the guns. So where they
mm,
were fully armed. So you can't send a person with a light skin vehicle to go and deal with that. So they were sent with a private car with his colleague, and those strikers, they will quickly take them out of the cars, bend the cars, cut them into pieces, and leave them there. So that alone, it will tell you that the government, which were already knew about the incident of Marikana, they were informed to intervene, that they are the strike that is building up, then there are a lot of people that are being killed. So they were informed by the mining house that they really need their help. They need to disperse the police so they can help with the public strike that was demonstrated by those people. They normally call it wildcat strike if people are doing unprotected strike.
mm,
So both of them did not have enough tools. They did not come on time. For me, it is the responsibility of both government and the previous mining house, both of them. I so wish that if it's possible, I can put both of them in one room. I can
mm,
put the company and the government and the strikers, or the present union that is now leading majority AMCO in one room, and ask them the question. The question that I will ask them, I will say to the government, you were told that they are striking mine workers, and the security of the mine was not capable to deal with that strike. What did you do? So you knew that there were more than 10 people that were already killed prior to 16. What did you do? And then as a Lonmin, why did you send my husband to deal with those trucks that are armed, knowing that you do not have enough resources to deal with them? The present one, I would say, when they came in, I thought it was a game changer, because they wanted to outshine what the NUM did. And then why they did not take us as a whole, because we were seeing that they are the new leaders, that they come with the new perspectives, like they're coming with the new things to innovate what was wrong in the previous the labor organizers. So, but instead, they are still leaving us behind. They are still leaving us. They are still excluding us. It's like we don't exist. Their widows is the widows of the 16 of Marikana. And I don't know if we have a human being that will differentiate a widow one and a widow two, and
Mm,
because these are the people that they all of them lost their loved ones, and irrespective of how they lost it, one lost it through a bullet, one lost it through the pangas and those weapons that the strikers were carried, and then we cannot differentiate these two. And the government, as much as Ramaphosa established the Faram Commission to say uh, the term of reference. I just want to decline this one. I told them I'm
mm,
busy. The term of reference, it was set up from the 10 of until the 16th of Marikana, meaning they were trying to cover the whole aspects of Marikana tragedy. Even when coming to the compensated, the government says they want to compensate all the people in Marikana, all the people of Marikana, including all the families and the widows. So I don't know, because we did not have the lawyers, like the legal forces to represent the other widows. Remember, the lawyers, they are also doing the business, and everyone that does business, according to me, it's personally, my personal perspective, the widows of the 16, they were majority. So everyone will go for them, because they are looking at the stake. You see, they are
mm.
looking at the stake. So no one wanted to help us. They say, oh, these are minority, we're not gonna gain anything. So they didn't care about us. No one cared about us. Even the people that wanted to help us, they came and they were told that, guys, this is a politics, you're not gonna do that. So the whole thing of Marikana, actually, they are politics. People were looking into their pockets than to help all of us. If they were not looking all of us, we should have one person that take the whole Marikana holistically and deal with it. Let us deal with the government. Let us deal with the mining house that did not address the ER-related problem that the strikers were striking care of. But in the interim, there were people that were injured. There were people that lost life. Let us take this thing holistically. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of the people in this world.
Ayesha Fundi, that is the widow of the late Hassan Fundi, who was tragically killed by the striking Lonmin mine during the Marikana massacre. Ayesha, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I mean, the Marikana massacre, now as you've rectified in terms of the narrative, not just about the 17th or the 16th of August, but it began the 12th of August already, with the killings, and your husband, and your late husband rather, being one of the victims in the brutal massacre. Gross human right violations coming through, that you've spoken about, including the labor rights that were ignored for the security personnel who were killed during that time. Thank you so much for joining us, Aisha. I know that this interview couldn't have been easy for you, and thank you for giving that insight to our listeners and viewers today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to you and the listeners.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.